Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this live webinar in our new series. My name is Dominic Martinkevic. I'm head of partnerships here at Ventrata, and I'm excited to welcome you to this webinar, whether you're watching us on LinkedIn Live through the StreamYard link, or maybe you're watching this in the recording. In today's session that we have prepared, we'll be talking not about a particular Ventrata feature or functionality, but actually about a fantastic external product that integrates deeply with our platform through the Octo APIs that we have at Ventrata. The name of the product is TourOptima. Those guys have built one of the deepest API connections we have at Ventrata, and they can really help you improve your guest communications, take them to the next level through delivering smoother, more personalized experience for your customers from the moment of booking through the post-visit follow-ups. So with that, please join me in welcoming Ben and Josh from TourOptima to this virtual stage. Hello. Hi, Josh. Hi, Ben. How are you guys?
How you doing, Dom? It's great to be here.
Same.
Thanks for joining. Yeah, we work very closely with you guys, have many mutual customers enjoying the integration. So we are happy to have this chance to spotlight your product and the integration in this webinar. I do know you guys have prepared a couple of slides here. Maybe before we begin, just a couple of housekeeping kind of items for the audience watching us. If you're watching us on LinkedIn, feel free to drop the comments right on the events page where you see this live. We are receiving your comments here in real time. So if there's any questions or anything you'd like to comment on as we go through this presentation, please just post a comment and we will address it as we go or at the dedicated Q&A time at the end. And the same goes for those of you watching us through the StreamYard webinar link that we have shared. We will get your comments as well. And yes, the session is being recorded, so don't worry, there will be an opportunity to rewatch it on demand or share it with your colleagues later as well. I think that's it, probably from my side. Josh and Ben, over to you guys. Do you want to introduce yourselves and TourOptima product, of course, and tell us a bit more about what you can do?
Thank you, Dom. Yes, it sounds good. Thanks, Ventrata, of course, for having us. I'm Josh Halpern, SVP over here at TourOptima. And then we've got our illustrious founder, Ben. Ben, you could say hello.
Hello.
There you go. We have a lot to cover today. So as Dom explained, and the format in general of this is, we are going to run through slides. We're going to share a little bit about what we're doing. Think of this as a conversation. Dom and Ben will interrupt me. I will do the same for them. For anybody who's run a tour before, think of us as benevolent hecklers, and you can join right in and add your comments and your questions as well. So with no further ado, we've got a lot of stuff to go through. I'm going to just go through what we're going to go through. So we're going to talk a little bit about us. Then we're going to talk about quantifiable impact that we can have on your business starting today, the ways that we can really impact from a numbers perspective. And then we're going to talk about what we do: omnichannel two-way comms, operational dashboard, and the mobile app. Then we're going to talk about, for those of you who may have heard of us before or engaged with us before, but haven't had a recent update, the new things we've got. We've got AI Assist, we've got Beyond the Booker, and we've got Stargating. So let's start with just who we are and why we're here. We have a deep integration with Ventrata. We've been long friends with them. We started back in 2018. We've been self-funded, and it gives us the freedom to really invest in the platform and to grow it the way we think it's best for our clients, not necessarily what's going to help us deliver revenue for us right away, but what's really going to be that long-term growth and engaging in the industry. We've won awards across the industry. All that stuff you can find online, so I won't go too deep into it. Then we've been helping all these clients. These are our clients, and then we have some more. These are the ones that made it to our wonderful logo board. The ones in red are the current Ventrata clients, and we hope that you can all join us. So a lot of great accolades we've been getting. One of the big takeaways, I think, if you look at sentiment analysis of the reviews we get, is people like what we do. It's fundamental to their business. It saves them a ton of time, generates revenue, but also we are exceptionally responsive. And that's a very key part of our culture here at TourOptima. Highest level of data security. Your due diligence teams do tend to love us. We have GDPR compliance. Intrepid Travel and Flight Center and a number of others have already run us through their gamut of security tests. And of course, partners with AWS and Twilio. Integrations. We're integrated. We're not just friends with, OTAs. We have integrations into them. We'll talk about our work with their extranets a little bit later. And from a ResTech perspective, we have integrations into all the major ResTechs. Why is that important? It's because when we're looking at a transition into Ventrata, we understand where you're coming from and where you want to go. So with that, a couple of things that may sound familiar to you that we address, things like questions from clients around or guests as to visibility is low. Can I get a refund? I booked an OTA. Can I get a refund? Is this wheelchair accessible? All these wonderful things that can slow up a team, but also if you address them properly, can really make a much better experience all the way from pre-booking all the way through in terms of their awareness of what happens. So now we talk quantifiable. Rubber meets the road. The impacts that we leave for our clients are lifts on pre-arrival upsells. We can help you if you have, for example, an upsell for an exceptional VIP experience, a viewing area, maybe a self-guided tour, which we actually also help you develop. We reduce phone calls. We put a pretty conservative number here. We have a lot of clients who actually say they've gotten rid of their phone call center entirely, but everybody has different ways of dealing with that. So that's something that you should be looking at, though. It's a major value add for us. Reducing late arrivals and no-shows, really getting some of those cogs in the wheel out of there and making the process a little more fluid. A number of other things in terms of boosting reviews. We'll talk about those later. Chargeback reduction, all the other pieces of this puzzle. Really excited, but here's what we do. If you take away one thing about the core of what we do, we run engagement from the moment somebody books all the way through to reviews. We talk about booking confirmations, reminders, upsells, and Ben's going to explain that in a second. But we do it through an omni-channel delivery. So that's the OTA extranet. Yes, we are integrated into that. We've got our own email system as well that goes out. We'll talk about that in a sec. And we've got the SMS and WhatsApp. So we reach clients or customers or guests wherever they are. So now, if you're here for education, this is the moment. Ben's going to talk about from our vantage point across the industry, what is the scenario? What are the types of touch points you should have on a single day or an attraction experience for your guests? Here is what we've laid out. Again, lots of adaptation. This is not a template as much as a suggestion, but we work with our clients on building this out. So with that, Ben, please take us through this.
The default coming in historically has been a confirmation, a reminder, and a review request. This has generally been not well thought out, the same for every single tour experience or option that is offered. And we put this into almost a 3D matrix. All the attributes that might exist within Ventrata can be used to inform the customer journey. Every different option, every package, every tour is unique. If someone hasn't booked a future experience, and you know that from the Ventrata record, we can cross-sell them soon after the booking. If they've abandoned the cart, which we know from Ventrata because they're on hold and they haven't checked out within 30 minutes and they haven't booked any future tours, if all those conditions are met, abandoned cart. If they have children in the booking, we might not want to upsell them the drinks package. If it's a large group of 8 people, there's no one else in the party on that manifest, and it's 24 hours before the tour, maybe upsell them into a private experience, no cost to you. Before the tour, if they haven't checked in within Ventrata or through our check-in flow, we'll go into that. Maybe 5-10 minutes before, send them a reminder, send that into the OTA extranet plus a WhatsApp, so they have no excuse for not knowing where the meeting point was. If it's an OTA, if it's a very luxury concierge that you've just won over and a guest isn't able to make the tour for whatever reason, maybe there's an automation. Maybe we don't say, hey, it's $21 to reschedule. But on the other hand, if it's a Viator customer on a very well popular low margin experience, maybe there is that rescheduling fee. All of these types of things, and we'll go into the reviews, we'll go into the cross sells, are very conditional on the attributes of the booking, the type of the booking, whether they've booked future tours, and the information that exists within that Ventrata system.
Super robust. And could you talk a little bit about the email that we send out and what that entails?
Yeah, so we want to make sure for direct bookers, of course, that there's a calendar invite, Google Maps link embedded. But even if it's an OTA booker, someone books on Viator, someone books on Get Your Guide, many operators, attractions think that that's okay. Viator will send them the pass. people understand that they're not the end attraction, and they'll be worried, hey, I don't have my actual pass. I haven't heard from the attraction. When you book a nice luxury hotel room, that hotel will reach out to you through the portal and provide you with the information you need, reinform your confirmation number. So with the Ventrata voucher, we will deliver that voucher into the OTAs, into mobile, into email. So it's a very robust system connected into Apple, Google, with waivers. That takes what already exists within the Ventrata templates or Mailjet and to a completely new level, fully branded.
Wow. Okay, now all of this cascades up into a dashboard that we have that allows you to be omnipotent across all of your channels and all your engagements. So I want you to take a look at this, and Ben, if you don't mind walking us through that.
Yeah, so as a tour attraction operator, things are organized by time, by departure date, by time, by day, by different attributes. And as a result, an inquiry, a message about today's manifest due to weather, disruptions, tickets, whatever the use case might be, or tomorrow's, is going to take priority over something 6 months from now. And similarly, when we want to reach an entire manifest, we want to do that generally by time-stamped. The meeting point changes, something changes, and it changes as of this date. So we want to message everyone after that date. So that's why dates and times are important for us. And that's how we, one of the ways in which we differentiate the system. And then beyond the dates and times, we will further organize by all the different attributes within the Ventrata system. So we understand the difference between packages and products. You might have a package, someone books 2 different products within that package. Each of those products is actually a separate chat group, because if we need to reach someone on the afternoon experience because of a disruption, we're not disrupting the entire package, we're only disrupting the product within that package. So options, resources, guides, drivers can all be split out to allow either notifications, communications to specific customers, a VIP customer, everyone on the Spanish version of the experience, everyone with Mary, the tour guide. We can vary it up based on how you organize your business on a experience by experience, product by product level. And within this dashboard, we organize our communications dashboard as a communications version of what exists within Ventrata. So Ventrata is providing a dashboard of all your bookings, reservations. We're providing a modified view of that with your full guest communication history from the time that you sent them that booking confirmation, direct or through the OTA or SMS, WhatsApp, all the way through the conclusion of their tour, all organized by manifest. Within that manifest, we have other attributes from Ventrata. So if they have public-private notes, if you've got information about their pickup, for example, if there's information about the language, mobility issues, whether they've checked in or not, whether they're a no-show, who their tour guide was, what their OTA is, all of these are tags within the communications dashboard that prevents you having to switch back and forth to Ventrata to understand the nature of the booking when you're responding to a customer in your communications platform.
And it's interesting, if you have repeat large format restaurants, for example, you work with, I presume you can actually put them on the platform in unique cases to be able to get those pings on allergies and information.
And just like any other messaging platform, you will be able to see unread messages, prioritize unread messages based on all sorts of different factors, tags, dates. We'll continue into the delivery methods. It's omni-channel. Very unique about this system is we reach the guest where they are. So all you need to do is send a message, not worry what OTA, what agent. Are they on Get Your Guide? Are they an international guest? Are they on WhatsApp? Do they even have a WhatsApp account? Are they on a cruise ship? Is the carrier going to deliver the message? You don't have to worry about any of that. You send your message, it gets beautifully formatted into your brand. It gets delivered over one email channel, one mobile messaging channel. We know that 80% of guests will be responding over SMS and WhatsApp, but it is important to send those messages through email and Get Your Guide for the paper trail, for the history, especially for the agents who need to understand that you made an effort to reach out and that you did reach out in the event of a disruption or proactively in the event there's cloud cover or weather event.
And so this is a magnification of the view that you can have on the person level, what platforms they actually receive the message of. And we also have read receipts on that as well. So you can actually see everything real time.
And messaging an individual guest, bread and butter, any messaging system will allow you to do that. You could also not the omni-channel piece, make an announcement to an entire manifest. So if we need to move everyone to a different time slot because of X, Y, or Z issue, make a single announcement, goes out through all the different communication channels, and the guests respond in their individual threads. When they get moved to that new departure or to that new slot, the whole conversation history moves with them automatically. Furthermore, update messages can either automatically go out or be manually triggered. So it's really designed around disruptions, around tours activities and times and slots. Furthermore, you can use the system to coordinate internally with your team. Instead of having 50 different WhatsApp groups and threads on separate platforms, you can use the same platform that you use to communicate externally with your clients to also communicate with your internal staff, and not shown here, but communicating with vendors as well. If we have a specific tour that requires a specialty vendor, with that confirmation, a separate message can go out to the vendor automatically on the channel they prefer. Lastly, in disruptions, we want to pause the automation. So we don't want these automations to go out if there is a weather event, if we can't get the tickets, if the customer responds and says, hey, I can't make the tour. We don't need to continue reminding them of when that tour is going to happen. They've already told us they can't make it. We can't cancel them in the ResTech system because then we're not going to get the money, but we want to pause the automations. And lastly, bread and butter of a messaging system is templated messages, which we highly encourage you and future clients to populate. But more so than templated messages is what we're now rolling out currently in beta to many of our clients, but it's our full AI suite. So what does this mean? The first thing it means is that when an agent goes to respond to a customer in the system, we pre-populate a message for that agent. That message is comprised of information that they specifically want from their knowledge base. So a traditional GPT, documents that you might upload, all of their previous and past communication history, number 2. And number 3 is all of that booking data from Ventrata. So the meeting point, attributes about the booking, the OTA, the customer says, hey, I need to cancel my reservation. We know they're a Viator customer. We say, hey, reach out to Viator. We can't reach out to your OTA, reach out to the agent. So all of your responses that are now, please reach out to your agent that you used to book it, is now, please reach out to Viator. Here's their phone number. Here's the link to use. And it really streamlines that process on a booking by booking basis. The second level of AI Assist is those common questions. Where's the meeting point? I'm not going to make my my transfer today, my ferry, my hop on. I want to get on the slot an hour later. Can I move my slot? Obviously, you have the space available. You do want to schedule people on different time slots for just inventory management, but it's really not an issue if someone comes for the next ship, for the next departure. So that's the types of automations that you can send out automatically above a confidence threshold. And then all sorts of advanced attributes with regard to AI and tagging, closing conversations, marking things as important for different staff members, and having that visibility. Again, all of the data that is in Ventrata is put into the customer's record as that as the AI goes and understands how it should respond. The messaging is also custom to the language. So if that guest is responding in Spanish, our message back to the customer is going to be in Spanish, even if the training material is in English, doesn't matter.
It's amazing. And also one of the things that we're seeing with our beta clients, it's learning from the tone at which you have, the information you have across your system. So it's starting to become its own solution on a per operator basis because it's learning from there. And that's been really exciting to see.
A lot of our 70% of our clients, most of our Ventrata clients, even more than that, have the app. And this is a fully branded app, iOS, Android, Swift, Kotlin, in the operator's name, published by the operator, that provides a leveled up experience for their guests. About 30% of guests will download the application and the native app. We provide the native app as a magic link, and all the text messages, all the emails just at the bottom. You can reply here to this message or tap here to respond in the app. So we do get a lot of app adoption. The app is really, really great if you have tickets that you're selling, but in order to sell those on the OTA, you need to add an audio component or something, right? So you can add things like audio content. You could add an interactive itinerary. We pull it from the Google Places API, but then you could put additional sites in. So if you have a sightseeing tour where you're hopping from point A to point B, and people can hop on and off at any time, and you want to show attractions in the area, things to do, you want to upsell things, show restaurant suggestions. All of this is really great. You can also create self-guided tours and self-guided experiences, which is becoming really popular right now in the space. So people can either take that self-guided solution, or maybe they take the guided solution, and then they can be upsold into an additional self-guided experience in the evening, staying within your brand. Lastly, your full catalog of tours is here at their fingertips, in their pockets, and all of those tours link into the Ventrata checkout so that customers can book directly through you in the future. And these are just some of the screens that we just went over, the chat communications, information about their trips. That's active, upcoming, and past trips, regardless of how they book them. So they can add their OTA trips to your application there by default. The catalog, all your different experiences as exist in Ventrata, and HUD connected up into their profile. This is just one example of a type of multimedia audio experience where we're showing the guest Washington, D.C. and having them walk around the mall.
Yep. Really cool. Obviously, some companies, their sole focus is trying to help you create interactive audio tours and mobile apps. We do this right out of the gate, and it's quite effective, actually. So we've really enjoyed that.
And that same solution can be used to track whether it's your staff, whether it's your vehicles, whether it's a customer waiting in Cancun for a pickup and wants to see when he's going to be picked up and where that vehicle is. All sorts of different use cases for this technology.
Yeah, we run a lot of bus tour companies, and we found that previous to us, they've tried, and many of you probably have tried a lot of these location routing services. We feel like we've dove in, luckily, and leapfrogged them in terms of what's realistic in terms of geolocation and user experience. So it's been really effective.
Of course, the mobile application can be also used by your staff, especially your guides coordinators in the field that do not have access to the Ventrata ticket terminals, to have a lightweight solution to quickly check people and assign them resources, different attributes. And especially if you really want those people not to have access to the full data in Ventrata, such as the amount that they've paid, all the information, be able to make modifications to them. This is a very lightweight, on the phone checkout flow that doesn't require any additional equipment if you have the app.
And
sorry. I just want to pause here really quickly on the check-in functionality, because I do know there was a lot of interesting development work done on this very recently. So Ben, Josh, am I right that essentially, like, it is basically the Ventrata check-in functionality, redemption functionality that you're also leveraging for this in the TourOptima app, right?
Absolutely. Not only do we redeem the pass within Ventrata, but we also further connect into something like GoCity for Go Reserve to market as redeemed, so you get your money as an operator attraction.
That's awesome. So if effectively you could replace the Ventrata app and just use TourOptima guide app to kind of redeem and welcome the guests, including those having those multi-attraction passes like GoCity.
Yes,
awesome.
And this is really useful when you also want that front office to communicate as well, because then it's a check-in and communication system in one application.
Awesome. Very, very impressive. Yeah, I know this was new development work that was done, so happy to see it live.
Yeah. And again, that QR code is because it can be both visual identification as well as a QR code scan where they can scan it from right within the app. Tour guide can do it. Great. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Ready? Beyond the Booker. We're going to talk a little bit about what it means to get information from your clients. What are the ways we can do it? Starting with something called Beyond the Booker. Obviously, many of you are in attraction spaces, sending people high above the earth on a wonderful observatory deck or in a museum. It's understandable that you want to know who's in the building. It's understandable to guests as well now to fill out a waiver, not just for themselves as the booker, but also the subsequent guests. So we have a fully integrated and fully optimized waiver system where you can use it all within the app, and we can track it, and it feeds right into your same data feeds. And that's a wonderful thing to do for those companies that really want to understand who's in the building. But there's another value to understanding who's beyond the booker. We now can, after you go through a checkout flow, everybody goes through it. You've got the booker who often, if it's a direct booker, you know the booker information, But if it's coming out from an OTA, it may be an encrypted email. So when they fill out the waiver, or if they just do a general check-in like this flow without the waiver, we say, hey, pre-check-in, we now have the booker data, but we also have all the data for communications to all these subsequent guests. And that's really exciting because now you can engage with all the other guests directly, both during the tour as well as after the tour. You can send and capture more reviews. You can reduce your customer acquisition costs, and generally you have a wider audience to pull from. So that's really great, as we know, because 81% of families do consult with their children. I probably am consulting a little too much with my child on where we go, but it's a key part of that. Friends, family, and other people who are on your trip will impact your experience. Another cool tool we've launched since we all spoke last was Stargating. Stargating is the ability to filter out and understand what a person thinks before we send them with a megaphone onto Google Viator and Get Your Guide. So obviously, if you have a review that's positive, we can set this however you want, but we generally say 4 to 5 stars. Then we say, great, go on and tell Google and Viator, Get Your Guide, etc., all about your experience. Of course, if your experience, that's the flow for positive. If your experience is not positive as a guest, you may have a 3 or less. We say, great, please tell us about your experience. Let's help address this issue before it ever sees the light of day on Google, Viator, etc. That's important, obviously, to incrementally increase your review numbers, which we've done very effectively. But also, you can now monitor that on a single dashboard. You can see what guides are getting what reviews, what tours are getting what reviews, what are the common issues, and you can respond to them from a central dashboard. So with that, essentially, this is the slide saying, hey, we do a lot. We do a lot of stuff that Dom talked about. We do communications, but we've also really incrementally improved all the other features from waivers and AI assist and tipping solutions and balance collections. So we do a lot. The big takeaway, if you take away anything, is we can help you reduce your costs, we can boost your upsells, and we can delight your guests through all the things that we've talked about. We are working very closely with Ventrata. Ventrata is a huge partner of ours. And really, it's not from a commercial perspective as much as we both really respect what each other's organization does. We've been very deeply embedded in the integrations and the tech, and we offer a full white glove Ventrata setup for those in Ventrata. And one of the things we throw in as well, because it's easier for us to work with Ventrata clients and those going to Ventrata, is the 30% off on the setup and migration fees. And one of the biggest exciting things is we really can get you up and running in 6 weeks timeline. So with that, before we go into questions and just the quick next steps, if you were going to be interested in chatting with us, of course, just scan there, book a demo. We hold a discovery call. We understand your unique situations as an operator. We understand all the different IT requirements. We come up with a proposal pretty quickly. And then we start the integration. That's 21 days, soft launch in about 4 weeks, where we start to test it out. And really from payment to launch, it's probably about 6 weeks. We work very hard. And so we're always responsive and we're there. So with that, let's do it. Dom, we have questions, answers.
Hey, awesome. Right on time. So let's take a couple of minutes. We do have a couple of questions that came in during the webinar. So let's get to those. And by the way, just a quick note before we go to the Q&A part, we are aware there was a bit of delay with the streaming on LinkedIn, and there's a new link there. So it will make sure we will share this recording with everyone separately on the Ventrata page. If there are any questions, just feel free to comment there as well, and we'll directly follow up on any questions there async. But with that being said, let's move to the Q&A part. So we do have a question here from Chirag. Chirag from Golden Tours is asking, how do upsells work with TourOptima? Do the products that they assign as upsell in Ventrata are getting pulled by TourOptima, or do you suggest according to the actual booking? So I don't know, Dan, Josh, who would be the best to answer this?
Yeah, so based on what they've already purchased, right, after they've purchased it versus the Ventrata upsell, which is in the checkout flow, when we're talking about an upsell, we're talking about something really post-purchase. They've made a decision at checkout, which is often the case, to have the cheapest option. Before the experience starts, they say, hey, wouldn't it be nice to have a few drinks on board. Let me buy the drinks package. I know I didn't buy it up front. Let me buy it now. So it's a little bit different than Ventrata. There are ways within the Ventrata API to create the ability to handle that upsell through the Manage My Booking portal. We strongly recommend that method. The other method, of course, is to create a separate product that's not visible to the public, that's in Ventrata, that the user can purchase. Then you need to manually connect it. So we do recommend using Ventrata's APIs and robust functionality to allow that from the portal.
Awesome. Next question we have here is from Martin at Lely Tours. And he's asking, does the self-guided tour commentary play automatically based on GPS or not?
So we track the user's location. So we show the user where they are in relation to the different stops. Ultimately, the user does need to press the play button as they approach that next stop. And the reason we did it this way is many times for a GPS that plays automatically, a lot of pre-production and post-production work needs to go into that audio to make sure that it starts and stops at the right time and customers don't get frustrated by it getting cut off when the next audio segment begins. So we've made a conscious effort to have that tap to play, which hasn't really resulted in any a lot of positive reviews, and it's something that we can certainly explore in the future, but right now it does follow your location and it's tap to play.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in as well on that, because in general, our philosophy is, and I think this is true with all tech, when you try to be presumptuous and assume you know what the customer wants, you end up falling short. And so the customer may be in a location, but they still want to hear what it was that they saw last. So they want to hear that with their family. Maybe they heard it. It happens to me all the time when I'm with my dad, who usually misses the thing on the first time around. And he says, what was that when the last thing? I don't want to have to be in my audio that's geolocalized from some satellite. I want to be able to say, no, here, listen to this again. So we find that giving them the freedom to do that is really helpful.
Awesome. And we have one more question here from Logan. So can the self-guided tour work offline without data service once the app is installed?
Josh, you got it?
Yes. Yeah, and that's critical. I mean, we make sure the package is pretty low in terms of data, but we want to put that on the local phone so that you can listen to that again and again. Is there any details around that from a technology standpoint, Ben, that is worth saying?
No, I mean, we downloaded an order in terms of audio, content, PDFs, as well as the information about what they're seeing on that tour, and then the catalog as well, so they can browse your other tours, your other experiences. Obviously, to purchase, they need an internet connection, but they've got their full chat history as well within the application. And lastly, they also offline have access to that Ventrata voucher at all times through My Trips. So if it is an experience where it might be partially self-guided, partially guided, they always at their fingertips have access through your app to their Ventrata voucher.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys. I know we're a couple of minutes over time here, but it was definitely worth it. Thanks so much for joining and sharing with us about TourOptima and your integration with Ventrata. I think this was super, super helpful. Again, we'll be sharing the recording on LinkedIn for those who maybe missed the very beginning because of LinkedIn streaming glitch there. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and thanks Josh and Ben for the presentation and introduction to TourOptima.
Thank you so much for having us. We love this stuff. We're really happy to be here. And if anybody has questions, we do this because we genuinely like to solve problems. And so you'll find us on any call ready to dive in.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.